Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with co-host Angela Hiley on the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast.
Hey.
About to drop another dope episode tonight for you.
Hell motherfucking yeah.
So what is this, like Tuesday night? I got a couple days to upload this. Be dropping on Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
We since fixed our emotional issues of the last podcast.
Yes.
So we are hoping to bring you something a little bit more uplifting.
Mamacita feeling better?
I've been rubbing her feet and shit.
No, what it was is I think it had a lot to do with that since I had the flu, I was out of routine.
Oh, and I had the flu too, so...
Yeah, but now I'm back in routine, so like I'm all about the whole workout thing, you know, running at least 2 to 3 miles, 3 to 4 times a week. Lifting weights. I also have my therapy session, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Which keeps me centered. That's once a month that I do.
Right. A little different. She's not a therapist. She's a special practitioner.
It's called EPT, but it's like a very intense therapy session. And it just helps you rejuvenate. It helps you rejuvenate. It helps you bring you back to center. It just...
Totally different than what anybody would imagine. I've done them a couple times, and you just come out feeling like a totally different person.
You feel like a champion.
Well, it's like it kills like a lot of negative shit.
Yeah, like any type of baggage that your subconscious is still like holding on to.
Yeah.
She's able to like bring it to light, and you just deal with it, and it's like just throw it out there into the universe and say, be gone with it.
And anything, you know, any of y'all who was at the Dents for Kids, that was Nick and Chanel. Chanel, which is my wife's really good friend, does that.
That's my BFF.
She's amazing. She's actually, she travels all around the world and does it all over the world. She's like set up to be like the lead person or something like that eventually.
That's my ride or die.
Right? Ride or die.
She's my ride or die.
Oh, Lord.
There is. We could be riding anywhere and... we'd be there to, you know, something happened, got a sticky situation, we would, you know, take a bullet from one another.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, anyhow, tonight's podcast, we'll talk about a variety of things, you know. Definitely got a lot of people hitting me up on my war against the... You know, I wouldn't even say it's a war because, like, you know, I'm a full blow. You know, I believe in capitalism, right?
I think you were just being honest.
Just being honest. I believe in capitalism, but when I see people that are not using it to their fullest extent or allowing other people to do very little with nothing too much or too significant in return, it's one of them things where, as an entrepreneur, I kind of look at that and I say, you know, for years and years and years, I've consistently watched our hill chart drop in price. I've consistently watched body shops being offered more percentages. And I've consistently watched, and I'm not talking about your legit company. It actually cracks me up when a, so to speak, legit company comes on and thinks that I'm like talking about them. It's like, well, where's your head at? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, I'm talking about somebody who comes in, rolls into town, lands a deal, puts you in a body shop, and then wants 30-35%. Typically 30, but what they tell you is they say our company pays 70. But what they're not telling you is they're giving the body shop 30 to 35. So like, you know, I look at that, right? As an entrepreneur, not as a fucking, you know, whiner, okay? I don't look at it.
You ain't no whiner. You've never been a whiner. That's not... Whoever the hell would ever say that you're a whiner?
I hope they think that.
No,
I hope they think
they
that.
don't know what the fuck they're talking
I
about.
hope they think
They don't
that.
know what the fuck they're talking about.
I love it.
And it's probably somebody that's like behind their computer screen.
Well, no,
doing
it's
that.
people that are reaping from the system the way it currently is being ran.
Oh.
It's people that are reaping from the benefits of the system the way it's currently ran. And when they see somebody disrupting that system, they see somebody disrupting the change in their pocket.
Nah, but you've always been that way, though.
Well, I'm just not scared to fucking come out and say it.
No, you've always been that way.
Honestly, y'all, what I'm really doing, what you guys really see me doing out there is I want to survey how much pain there was out there. Because, here's the thing, guys. Where there's pain, there's opportunity. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know that as a businessman. Many of my business models have been set up based on, finding pain and bringing something to the market that's designed to cure that pain. Okay? In a sense, putting something together is better than what was currently there, okay?
Yeah.
So you know what? If they want to call that fucking whining, go ahead. Because then your head's in the dirt, and you can just keep it there while I do my thing. But
No, I'm not.
I would rather people just become wise out there and begin maybe being a little bit more respectful and taking what they need and giving what they need, because they're given a big opportunity. That's the problem. It ain't about me saying, okay, like them treating you like a commodity. You know what I mean? It ain't about me pointing that out, all right? So if you're willing to be treated like a commodity, fucking go do it. I don't care, you know what I mean? If that's the way you're willing to let people treat you, then that's your problem.
That's their own issue.
But if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to think that you're probably not considering yourself a commodity. You're probably not putting yourself in that category or that
Hopefully not.
that niche, okay? Whatever, okay? You're not putting yourself there, right? So, but here's the deal, right? If I'm going to give a fair warning to every company out there that's pushing the label at 35% to the body shop, 30 to 25% they're taking on the top of that. Y'all are setting yourself up for somebody to step in and put something in place that's going to fuck you to the dirt.
That's not good.
And you know what? And you did it to yourself, okay? And I'm going to tell you how you did it. You did it with poor salesmanship, all right? That's the easiest thing for an entrepreneur to capitalize on. You did it with poor salesmanship. And here's the one thing. I want to finish this real quick.
Okay.
The middleman is always the easiest to replace, because in the world that we are in today, you are not needed, okay? Somebody doesn't need to physically walk into a door anymore and sell their services. Somebody doesn't need to physically be there any longer. Systems are replacing that day in and day out. Look at Amazon.com. They are fucking Best Buy to the dirt. And every middleman that's buying things from other people, marking it up and selling it out because they figured out a better process, they're taking less, and they are putting it to work, okay? So keep that in mind. We're moving, a lot of these companies are stuck in the past, and we're moving into the future. And will I correct it? I don't know. I'll guarantee you that I'm trying. And I guarantee you that my mind is spinning on it 24/7. And I'll guarantee you that you're going to see things coming in the next weeks, in the months, in the years. And it's not going to stop coming. Because...
You're on a mission.
Well, and the only mission that I'm on, it has nothing to do but seeing pain. Like, that's why I survey the market. I want to know how painful it is for y'all to pay somebody a body shop 35% and pay a broker 30%. I want to know how painful that is.
Some slimy brokers.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Because and here's what I found, though. Some of y'all are really happy. There's companies out there that are making y'all happy. And that's good. You feel secure because they're going to guarantee to pay you, whatever. So you're feeling secure about that. So there's that aspect.
But they're saying they're guaranteed, but they wonder if something happens and they can't pay you then.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing we'll get to next, okay?
That you're taking a gamble right there.
Right.
You're taking a gamble.
So here's the biggest thing. If you guys haven't been over to PDR Tooltime Revolution, I've caught a lot of, I don't know what it is. To me, it's they're complaining. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, what did John say again? We better get up there and defend ourselves. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even talking about you, but
oh my God, my butthole's
you know,
too tight.
but here's the deal. Like, if you feel that way, like if I go out and say a general statement and you feel that it's directed towards you, then there's some truth to that. Did you ever heard the truth hurts?
That means they got some issues that they have.
Insecurities. There's insecurities within companies.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, in a way, I was digging for that because I was trying to understand, right? I was trying to understand, you know, what's happening out there, and I found that. And I don't think it's fully true. You know, I don't think it's fully true with the certain companies that were coming out like that. But what I can tell you is that I put a contract on there. I took the time out of my day, my week, and all that. Sat down with probably one of the best insurance minds that I've talked to, not an agent who's been an underwriter, who's worked in the depths of the insurance company doing underwriting, big policy stuff like that, right? So I got him in my office, and Evan brings to me this contract that will insure jobs up to whatever cost margin, right? So you walk into a car dealer per se, okay? I'm gonna give you an example. Planet Ford down the road from our house, who is no longer there, went out of business right after a hailstorm, okay?
That was that dealership that was down there?
That was the dealership, was right down the road, okay?
Oh.
They went out of the business, they got a good location, but not a good location. You know what I mean? It was like one of them. Mm-hmm. And they went out after the hailstorm. Did they pay all the Brazilians they had in there? I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me, okay? But here's the deal. What's to say that when you walk into a car dealer and you sit down with them and you sign a contract, right? Or do whatever. You say, oh, I'm going to service your dealership. You're going to say, here's the contract between us two. What's to say that this company that's stepping to the table, putting a contract on the table, signing it with a car dealership, can handle their business if the car dealer defaults? And even if the car dealer did default, how long would it take to legally pursue that? And how long would it take a company to give the money to their technicians, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, I personally know there's a few companies, probably less than I can count on one of my hands, that could handle that issue. They could pull money out of the bank, you know what I mean, and take care of their technicians. Mm-hmm. But there's also a handful of companies that land big deals who I personally don't think they could. One of the clear indicators is if they're an S Corp or an LLC, okay? Now, you might say, John, you own an LLC. Well, I'm not running $5 million deals, but I do also own a C Corp and an S Corp. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'll break it down for you real quick. Here's what an LLC is. An LLC is a sole proprietorship that has a contract binding between you and the shareholders or percentage holders or whatever between that and your company. You can take an LLC, if anybody's intelligent, which I guarantee you they're smart enough to do this, and you can elect to become an S Corp through an LLC. Okay? Now, let me explain to you what an S Corp is. And most of you guys probably know this because you have them or whatever. An S Corp does not file a tax return. It is an information return. The payments are paid out, dividends, whatever, paychecks, whatever you got to do in your S Corp is paid out to the people that are the shareholders at the end of the year, okay? You can take some carryover money, but if you decide to carry over a big chunk, that has to be split up between the owners, and they have to pay personal taxes on it. Okay? So in a sense, an LLC or an S Corp is going to crack even at the end of every year. Mm-hmm. And then they're stepping into the next year. It's a shell designed to funnel money through to protect themselves from liability. Mm-hmm. Okay? So any S Corp or LLC elected as an S Corp is designed to protect the person from liability. So if you go to sue them, you're really only going to get what's in there, but there's really no capital in there unless they purchase things. But if they're smart, they don't even do it through the S Corp. They use it as a shell. And they funnel money through it, and they just keep it up there as a protection, a veil of liability. Now, let me tell you something. A C Corp is totally different. So when you set up an S Corp through a C Corp, by default, you're a C Corp. And then you got to elect to be an S Corp if you're a U.S. citizen, okay? An actual C Corp is it's its own entity. It files its own taxes. It collects its own money. It pays checks. It has shareholders, okay? If it pays a dividend, it gets double taxed. Very hard to take dividends out of there. They'll tax it twice. They'll tax it at the corporate level and the personal level, okay? But to legitimately build something that has capital, you have to be running a C Corp, okay, that has money buying power capital is typically, in most cases, in 99% of the cases, is going to be a C Corp. And that's because you can keep money in there. It doesn't pay Social Security. I want to say, guys, anything over 50%, you're paying 35. Anything over 50,000, you're paying 35%. Anything under 50,000 or something like that, you're paying 25. I may have butchered that a little bit, but it's something to that nature. And that's the tax rate, but you don't pay the 15% Social Security because it doesn't die, it doesn't retire, it's its own entity. Mm-hmm. That's the only kind of company that's going to build the capital to cover a $5 million deal. They're going to be running a C Corp, so that's your first indicator. The second,
that would be a good thing right there, right?
If you're running that big of a deal and you had the capital in that.
And you came in and was working a storm and you wanted to, just kind of like see who you were going to be working for. That way you felt maybe it made you feel more comfortable, like you were going to get your money.
If I had a giant hail company where I was in charge of moving money, stepping in and collecting large chunks of money, distributing it, I would not want to have anything other than a C Corp.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, they say, your attorneys, they'll lie to you all day long. They'll say an LLC gives you more protection. Let me explain this to you. It's called limited liability. Okay? Number one. The second thing you're going to learn is an LLC hasn't stood trial like a C Corp. A C Corp has had trials back from God knows when, where people have tried to penetrate and beat the corporate veil, and they haven't been able to penetrate it because they can refer back to laws and trials that had gone through back as early as the damn C Corp was available. Mm-hmm. It's a true protection from liability. An LLC, I don't think they've been brought to the trial. I don't think they've been brought in hard enough.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been hit hard enough, and I don't think there's enough stuff set in stone to fully protect yourself in an LLC.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. Now, I own one, but it's just because I couldn't talk. I didn't want to, but I went with it anyway. So I own an LLC, I own an S Corp, and I own a C Corp. And I'm happy with that structure. 3 different entities, 3 different companies.
But when that hailstorm hit Centerville, everything
was our
ran
C Corp.
through our C
Yep.
Corp. Yeah.
But it's kind of different, guys, because I'm running payroll weekly there. I'm not collecting $5 million at the end of a gig, sitting across a desk from somebody waiting for him to sign a check.
Yeah.
Okay? So what was disturbing to me was that a lot of hail companies, they kind of stepped up and commented, quite a bit whenever I was... I wouldn't say I was putting them under the gun. I was surveying the market. I was trying to find out if there was pain. Hey, you guys tired of prices going down and, percentages going up? Yeah. Everybody, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm surveying, I'm trying to find the pain. Because that's where opportunity lies.
Yeah.
Because if I can fix that pain, then I can help you and you can help me.
But can I ask you a question? Do you ever think that maybe, like, a lot of people that go and they work for a broker, don't you think they're capable of going out there and landing their own deals? If
Absolutely.
They really wanted, I think a lot, that's the thing, I meet a lot of, hail chasers.
Yeah.
And they'll go and they'll work for a broker. And I see the type of personality that they have, and I'm like, you can go out there and be landing your own deals with the personality, loyal individuals. They have a great personality. People love them. And I'm thinking, why aren't you going out there and doing that? They need to be stepping out of their comfort zone. That's what it is.
And there may be various reasons. They may have reasons why they like to and why they don't, okay? And that's okay, right? But going back, I just don't want to go too far off track. I was going back to the contract,
go ahead,
okay?
Go ahead.
So I presented a contract. I had one of the best insurance minds and that I believe. He's very, very good at finding things. He's even got something set up where I'm going to be able to get people workman's comp in any state through, I forget, MetLife, I think it is. And by the way, it just goes straight to MetLife. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to build the portal. I'm just going to do it, okay? So he comes to me and has a contract with a company, and you can check it out on PDR Tooltime. I don't remember the name of the company. It's sitting in my shop. And this company, what they actually do, what they're designed to do, is if you're a manufacturer, okay, and you get an order from Toys R Us, and Toys R Us orders 500,000 parts, okay, of a toy or something like that. Well, they don't get paid until like a net 90 from Toys R Us, okay? So what a manufacturer will do is they will buy this insurance to cover that payment, okay? So in a sense, they will literally purchase a block of insurance that will cover if Toys R Us defaults on their order, okay? Evan called him. Evan talked to him. Evan had meetings with him. That same thing applies when you land a big deal. You go into a car dealer, you land a $5 million deal, you can contact this company. Now, we'll tell you, if you're running out of a shell and you don't have financial backing, you're probably not going to get the insurance. But you probably shouldn't be running a deal like that either.
No, you shouldn't.
So what they do is the parameters of what they check. Obviously, everybody involved in the company has to fill out some financials. It's a couple pages worth of financials from you, bank accounts, all that shit. Then the individual who you're purchasing from, or who the deal is going through, the car dealer, would have to fill out their part of the contract. And both of you get qualified for this insurance. Okay? To me, if I'm a car dealer, and I'm a legit, and I'm good, and I know I'm good for it, I would respect an individual who had the business mind to insure his labor and his people.
Yeah, because they would have no problem whatsoever, no hesitation to fill that out.
Absolutely not. And if
They'd be
they did,
I'm good for gold. You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid.
Right.
You're going to get paid. You're going to get
but
paid that
in
much.
a sense, that is like I couldn't imagine it, okay? Like, I couldn't imagine stepping into a deal where I had $5 million on the line. And, or whatever, or $2 million, or $1 million, or let's just say $500,000. When you could purchase a block of insurance and figure that into the deal, Because I find it interesting, because for the longest time, and rightfully so, all the companies have been touting, hey, you better make sure you have that insurance. You better make sure but now we can kind of look back and say, you better make sure you have that insurance.
Hell yes.
I mean, because unless you're a Dent Wizard or something like that, right? And other companies. I mean, there's other companies. I don't want to keep saying them because I'm going to leave somebody out, And if I leave somebody out, then they think that I'm like...
How come you didn't mention me?
But I'm just saying, let's say to maybe... I think Dent Wizard may have took over KHS or whatever. Let's say, whatever. There's 3 big companies out there that can do it. There's several more that can do it. I know some personally that can definitely do it. But I don't want to keep touting them out because if I do, then I'll forget people and they'll get angry and they'll think I'm directing this message to them. Again, being insecure, okay, of my bad memory, who she texts me 3 times to remember to pick up water on the way home because I'm a daydreamer. I'm thinking all the time,
you're
right?
So known for that. And then you're like, how come you keep reminding me of this stuff? And I'm like,
right?
Because you don't remember.
But I'm just saying, like I found it so interesting that nobody wanted to comment on that thread. And I get it. They haven't been doing it. They haven't been insuring big deals. And
well, they should.
If they commented on it, they would probably put themselves in the position where people would begin to expect it.
No,
they should.
They should be doing it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at this as the big picture as a businessman, okay? You roll in somewhere. Now, I can understand if you're, you ain't got the jack. Like, you know what I mean? Let's say you're an LLC. You went empty at the beginning of the year. And I guess if you do a $5 million deal, it's probably going to cost you 20 G's to insure the thing. You know what I mean? It's going to cost you 20 grand cash.
But that's like protecting your ass, your reputation, and it's protecting the people that you hire to do the job.
And if you ain't got 20 grand to stroke a check and you're trying to land a $5 million deal, that's a problem.
That is a problem. That's a huge problem.
It's a big, big problem.
Yes, it's a very big problem.
And because if you can't stroke a $20,000 check, somebody goes into default, there ain't no way you're going to stroke a $5 million check.
And I think like one of the reasons why we feel this way is because...
we've been hit.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. We messed with a slimy broker.
Yeah.
And the dude took us for 20 grand, and it was right before the winter hit, and guess what? We were scraping to get by that winter.
We were not in the position that we are today, guys.
Exactly. So you know what? It's not like we're trying to like go after whoever. It's because of personal experience that I do not want to see other people get themselves in that sticky situation. All we are is trying to put out options. We're trying to educate. We're trying to bring this to light. Like these dent guys, you know, y'all want to work for brokers or whatnot, you know, you need to be doing some questioning too when they're questioning you. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, are you good enough to work for us? Well, you know what? Wait a minute.
Well, I do find it interesting how the tide has turned lately. It almost seems like an arrogance of the big guy versus the little guy. It's like now it's like, are you good enough to be part of what we do? And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude,
I'm sitting here like, motherfucker.
Fuck that.
I'm
dude,
like,
we're the fucking labor.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We're the ones that you collect your check off of. We're the back that actually puts the fucking push to the tool.
Yeah.
You know? And if you don't think that highly of yourself, I'd recommend considering talking to yourself a little bit more often. Maybe doing some gratitude exercises and tell yourself that you're worth more than that.
Exactly.
You know, this is a very, very skilled field.
It is.
And I would honestly like to see, okay, like at one point wholesale went very, very bad. And guess what? There's exceptions there. Some of you guys are like, well, I do it and I make good money. Good. There's just as many people getting shitted on every day as people making okay money, okay? That's debatable, by the way, right? And literally what happened in my market was wholesale went down to $35 a car. So they have nothing but the worst working on the cars, usually. Okay?
Yeah, and we were like, fuck that shit.
A lot of the good guys that I know are doing body shops or they're doing retail or something like that. Now, I'm not saying there's not a few out there. Of course there is. There's people who just don't want to move. They get comfortable, and maybe they've maintained themselves over the years, and good for them. Okay? But the bottom line is, in an overall spectrum, I consider wholesale a playground for new technicians. They get trained poorly. I push a lot of mine right into retail, but ones that get trained poorly, I consider it a playground. I consider it a playground for new technicians. And I want to say that in the future, looking around the curve, guys, that working for a broker body shop split, the way that it's going, with prices going down, percentages going down, is going to be a playground for mediocrity and new technicians. Mm-hmm. And something has to replace it. Something has to replace it.
I personally think that the guys that are out there working for brokers, I think they just need to step out of their comfort zone and be going out there and landing their own deals.
Or
they're I know plenty of them that are capable of doing that.
You know what I like to see? I like to see even better, okay? Do what every red-blooded American business from day one started. They didn't get caught in this socialism bullshit that we call insurance. Okay? Everybody throwing their money into a pile and it gets spread out here and there, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you put yourself in that situation, you put yourself in a situation of control, okay? They want the control of the customers, but why not start educating the customers of why they shouldn't be following their insurance company and working directly with you? Mm-hmm. You know, that's the change. That's the big change. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a story. Okay, it's kind of like 3C Collision here in Columbus, Ohio. 3C Collision is ran by a guy. I want to say his damn it, I'm bad with names. I even worked for the dude once, Bob Jumper or something like that. The dude's a legit badass, man. He is a legit badass.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Don't want to mess with.
He's a bad motherfucker. He's a cool dude, but with the insurance companies, he's a bad motherfucker. Yeah. This guy's got 13 satellite shops. He's got 3 campuses. Each building, I'd say, is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30,000 square feet. He's got a Victorian-style mansion that all his estimating goes out of. 3 stories. He's got the whole top story. Drives around a Hummer still. Loves that Hummer, you know. And he has no DRPs, has a 700-car bullpen that stays packed and full day in and day out. He flies a blimp over the Ohio State Stadium that says, "It's your choice." He gets on the radio, he gets on the TV, and announces the 5 worst insurance companies every year. These guys have their foot so far up insurance companies' asses
I love
that
it.
they're sneezing Bob's shoestrings.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
That's because he's doing what every fucking red-blooded American business done from day one, and that was go out there and fucking get yours. Stop relying on the bullshit, man. Stop relying on somebody to hand you something for nothing. You don't think you're going to pay the price eventually for that? Everybody thinks I'm talking about getting together as a union. Fuck that. I want the strong to survive, man. All right? I want people out there, and guess what? When the strong survives, they're going to pull you in. You know, the weak ones, the followers, you know, the people, they'll pull you in because they're going to be setting up deals that are bigger and better, and there ain't going to be no bullshit body shop taking 35%.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Hell motherfucking no.
They're going to get theirs, and they're going to help you get yours, man.
Give it to him, Daddy.
And that's the thing, okay? Just as Americans alone, where did we go wrong when we expect people, big companies and corporations, just to hand us shit? Did you guys really start your PDR business so you could work for somebody else and have them tell you exactly what to do?
No,
and have them dictate and control you?
Nope.
How many of these companies do you think would sell their soul over in 1 second to an insurance company? For a contract. Are they going to be pushing the metal on them cars? Nah, but they're going to be collecting the $20 million check or whatever.
Yes.
And guess what? You're going to be collecting less. And you're going to be working more. And then you're going to go talk to them and they're going to tell you why it's good for your family for you to work for them. Because that's where people's minds have actually fucking went.
No, that's true.
Okay? So if you really think... If you look back in the history, if you think year by year things are going to improve from here, unless we do a full-blown paradigm shift, and I'm here to tell you, you want to talk that union bullshit with me? No. I told you from the beginning, I'm a capitalist, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to recommend you guys out there who started your own fucking business to go back to the reason why you started it.
Yes, dig deep. Dig deep.
And become the man that you know you can be. And never, never go down on your knees for a buck.
You're fucking awesome. You know that?
What? I just know people are better than that.
I love it. I love it. You're fucking awesome, John.
I just know they're better than that.
I'll get you beer, baby.
That's right.
Fucking awesome. Preach.
Oh God.
No, that's fucking hot. What you were just saying.
Oh, you like that? That's how you talk to your girl, man.
Yeah, you do it, Big Daddy. You do it.
No, I really did find it funny, like people that don't know me and thought I was talking about starting a fucking union. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's not me, y'all. You know what I mean? That's not me, all right? You know why? Because that disrupts nature. Socialism is a disruption of nature. Okay? The welfare system's a disruption of nature. Legitimately, most taxes are a disruption of nature. Okay? Because it's natural for the people who make the money to allocate it to where it should go, instead of a politician. Here's what I say to anybody who thinks that they can do more with my money than I can do it. Show me what you're spending it on, okay? So if I pay the government $50,000 in 1 year, I would like them to be able to show me how they spent that $50,000 better than I could in my own community, with my own people. Hiring, what? I could have built onto my shop. I could have added things. I could have hired contractors, okay? They can't do it because they're taking your money, they're wiping their ass with it, they're laughing, and they're moving on.
People really thought that you were trying to form a union?
Yeah, right.
Are you serious?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
They don't know the Hileys very well, do they?
I'm talking about.
They don't know what
no,
we
no.
about.
I'm not talking about like making a group strong.
A union?
I'm not talking about making a group. I'm talking about making every.
Fuck that shit.
I'm talking about making every fucking one of you strong. Every one of you a fucking warrior.
Yes. That's how we do it here.
It feels better just to even think about it like that. Think about that.
All riled up, man.
But think about that. It feels better just to think about yourself in that context. Okay? Man, I'll tell you, it's just lately. Lately things have, I feel like I'm seeing things clear,
I think you are.
I sit around and I watch people giving false compliments to benefit, themselves.
Ugh,
it makes my skin crawl.
Oh, it makes my skin. That is one thing. Like I've said it on.
You ever see somebody give an insincere compliment?
Like somebody that's. Oh.
Have you ever had somebody give you an insincere compliment?
And you feel it in your gut,
where you knew that like what they were saying was
so
directly just to like blow you.
Yeah.
That ain't right. You know what I mean? Do you really?
Ain't nobody gonna be blowing you
as a man or a woman. As a man or a woman, is that really the position you want to be in life?
No. But I'm the only one that's going to be blowing you.
Well, guess what? I like that. But guess what? You want to jump into that whole, you want to jump into the whole game? You want to be blowing people that are taking big percentages of your money and telling you that they need, you need them more than they need you?
There's really nothing special about them.
And then welcome to a mediocre life of conformity where you're never going to see your full potential.
No, and there's a lot of people out there that I feel that they haven't reached it, and I know they're so capable of doing.
Oh, if they listen to this podcast, I know they're capable of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
They've heard it.
And I hope that anyone that's listening to it, that they're wanting to do that, it gives them the push.
You got to understand, guys. When I tell you, when I'm looking for pain, okay. Any entrepreneur looks for pain, okay. Yeah. There's two natures of man, okay. We either move towards pleasure or away from pain. As an entrepreneur, you must find one or the other. You must be able to pull people towards pleasure or move them away from pain, something that's currently painful, okay?
I would want to be removing myself from pain.
Yeah, but there's always two motives,
I know.
Sometimes you move towards pleasure because you want a big screen TV that's, you got a 70-inch, you want an 80-inch curved.
But what if you can pull yourself away from that pain and then down the line you can buy that damn TV then, right?
But then sometimes as an entrepreneur, you look at pain. You look at pain of the flip phone versus the iPhone, right? He was taking people away from something that was a little bit more of a painful experience, but pulling them towards a pleasurable experience, right? So as an entrepreneur, and I want to call looking for pain, is also seeing blood in the water.
We've been there.
And guess what?
We know what it's like to feel pain.
I'm just here to tell everybody. The same old business model we've been running for years. Unless some dramatic bullshit law is put to work, which, I don't think it's going to happen. But if it was to, that would be the only thing that would cause what is happening now to continue to escalate, okay?
Oh, Lily's getting so into this, she needs to drink a beer tonight.
Yep. But guess what? There's not a law put in place, okay? We need to realize right now that we're going in the wrong direction. And I encourage any of you all entrepreneurs out there, start looking for ways to cure the pain. Okay? You really care about people's family? Pay them more. So that way they don't have to be out on the road so long.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
And guess what? If your expenses are so high that you couldn't do that, well, again, you're in a business model that's creating pain. So you better fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's going to get figured out. It can't continue.
Nope.
So, anyhow, y'all, I think that's it.
Really good podcast, babe.
I just sound like an angry man, because I am angry.
No, you're not an angry man. No.
You know what though?
Man, you were
fire is what it is.
Like
fire. Y'all remember that, okay?
You're preaching
Fire
some good
is what it is,
stuff.
y'all. And you know what? Hopefully, I lit a fire in you.
Woohoo!
Because, listen, it doesn't feel like being angry or being negative. It feels like a mission. Okay? Because it is a mission. As a man, you need a mission.
Yeah, you do.
All right? If you rely on this trade to feed your family, do your things, then join it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy to have you. But keep that socialism bullshit out of here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. So I think
then.
we're done.
Until then. Until then.
Who knows what they're going to say about this, but you know what? I'll say it one more time, okay? I like you, but I don't give a fuck what you think about me.
You just keeping it 100. And guess what, y'all? It's all about the hustle.
We're going to see you on that next one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the king of the jungle when I can't be tamed. Take you all the way to the millennium reign. It's the return of the germ, it's that funky worm. Heated like the bottomless pit when it burn. Bro, my flow you cannot handle. I'm bumping and I'm humping like a camel on your radio channel. It's me, THREAT.